welcome to IfeomaSpeaks. I am Ifeoma Chigbogwu. Today, I have two presidential candidates in the House because of the Not Too Young to Run bill. If not for that bill, they will not have been here. Dr. Nicolas Felix and Chike Ukaegbu. Stay with me as we listen to them tell us about themselves and share their value proposition. Chike, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. How are you?
Interesting. I'm good.
Wonderful.
Thank you. So, how has it been? How is the political terrain in Nigeria?
Interesting. I think that would be the right word to describe it. Some people ask me, is it everything you expected? I'm like, well, I had no expectations, right? So it's living every day and doing what we have to do to make sure that, the goal we set ahead of us, we accomplish it. So yes, there have been the ups and the downs, but overall it's been exciting, it's been interesting, and I'm looking forward to, the much more that I hope to learn from this journey, from this experience.
Thank you. Who is Chike Ukaegbu?
That's an open-ended question. How do you want me to answer that?
Just answer. Okay,
so let's see. I'll try to do the abridged version. So Chike was born in Owerri. Okay. I was born in Owerri, June 12, 1983. Moved to Aba, so I'm really an Aba boy. I grew up in Aba. So nurseries, primary, were in Aba. Then JS 1 to 3, FGC Port Harcourt, SS 1 to 3 back in Aba. First and second year University of Lagos before going out to the US. Studied biomedical engineering at City College of New York. Became a Colin Powell Fellow on Public Policy and Leadership at 21. Focused on understanding youth disconnection, so youth who are out of school and out of work. Designed the HEROES model. So HEROES is an acronym for Heritage, Education, Relationship, Opportunities, Entrepreneurship, and Service. 6 crucial areas are important for youth development and engagement. Launched a nonprofit at 26. Actually started teaching math at City College at 25. Did that for 7 years. Thought entrepreneurship alongside math for 2. A whole bunch of stuff. So founded the first diversity-focused tech accelerator in New York, probably in the US, but definitely in New York City. Went on to Cornell to study executive leadership and management, took MBA courses at UPenn, studied venture capital investments at Stanford, and ever since have been a huge proponent of diversity and inclusion. So I'd say my life goal, my life purpose is being able to make sure that, we empower as many Black lives as possible. So that we fight the social injustices and the discriminations against people of African descent. And for me, Nigeria being the largest Black nation in the world, I think we have failed at our responsibility of, managing that mantle of leadership globally for several reasons. But your question was, who is Chike? So Chike is currently the youngest presidential candidate, and like you did mention, the Not Too Young to Run bill made me eligible to run. So I'm thankful for that, but also, excited about the possibilities of what I believe an amazing Nigeria looks like, which is what we're running on.
What party flag are you flying?
It's a new party. It's called Advanced Allied Party, and actually a symbol is a golden spoon.
Advanced Allied Party.
Yes, AAP. So remember that. Just look for the golden spoon logo. Yes.
Doesn't it bother you that we have dominant parties that have political structures already?
The same dominant parties that have left us exactly where we are as a nation, the same dominant parties that we complain corrupt, have no ideologies, in fact, keep on mortgaging our futures, And the truth is, the people who keep doing that are people who will not be here to bear the consequences of their actions today. It'll be me, it'll be all the young people who would have 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now to live. So yes, for me, picking a party, there were three things that were important to me. Ideology, being youth-focused or being future-centered, and of course, having that structure. So the AAP is a party that was formed by 5 or 6 groups. So the National Youth Council, women organizations, trade unions, civil societies, National Students Associations, and I think the National Disability Group. So these were the 6 groups that came together to form the party and actually do have presence in all 36 states. So what we're doing now is making sure we can marry the amazing Nigeria team and the party structure together to shock the nation come 2019.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Chike, why should I vote for you?
Great. You just told me prior to this that you have 2 daughters, correct?
Oh, yes, I do.
Wonderful. And I'm hoping and believing that you're looking forward to having grandchildren, right?
Of course.
Wonderful. So here's the reason why you should vote for me. We live in a nation where more than 60% of our population is actually under 30. Yet, we also live in a nation that is run by people who are over 70. We're walking into a future, the 4th Industrial Revolution, that for me is a scary reality because 1, we have leaders who do not understand that future, so cannot prepare us for it. 2, we have a population that will be, right now we talk about 30 million unemployed Nigerians. The truth is 20 years from now, probably be 150 million unemployed Nigerians because the future we're walking into is no longer one where I compete with you for jobs, but now I'm competing with you and with machines, and we're not prepared for that. So 3, it's unconscionable what our leaders have done in the last 58 years. I tell people my parents are both civil servants, they're retired. And part of the reason why it was pertinent that I jumped into the race was, you know, at the time for about 20 months, they had not been paid pensions. And I said, okay, I'm one of 6 kids. And once in a while, we scrap the little we have and we send to mommy and daddy to help sustain them. But imagine a family that has children who need to go to school, that needs to put food on the table, that needs to pay hospital bills, that needs to live and survive in a nation that is rich in resources, is rich in human capital, yet is the poverty capital of the world. You start to ask yourself, how do people whom we elect to represent us, to fight for us, to come up with policies and whatever initiatives to help us live better in a nation that is blessed, how do they sleep at night? Going home with however much money they go home with, yet you have more than 87 million people who live in poverty. So we have leaders, in my opinion, that their perspective of leadership have come from the colonial masters. And the truth is, when you have a master and you have servants, that's it. Everything the servants do, or in this case, the Commonwealth nations do, are in the benefit or in the interest of the master. So I'm not saying that most of our leaders are bad. No, I'm saying that their perspective of leadership is flawed. And if we keep on the same path, we're in trouble, in huge trouble. So when you ask me, why should you vote for me? The question is, why is this election important to you? Because it's not about voting for Chike, it's about understanding the urgency of 1, preparing us for today and for the future, buying into that, understanding your role in making sure that we stop people who do not understand what it means to prepare us for a future that your daughters will live in, that your grandchildren will live in, that most likely these current leaders will not be around. And we will be the ones paying for those consequences. We will be the ones bearing the consequences of the decisions they make today. So, but if that's not good enough to convince you, some people will say, well, you know, Atiku is the one who I have to be articulated because he's the only one who has a structure to get rid of Buhari. And, you know, I'll let you ask the next question. How about that?
Interesting. Chike, it's been refreshing listening to you, but what about experience?
Okay. So, are you talking about political experience?
Everything, political
Good.
and
Okay.
otherwise.
So I outlined my educational, background,
Background.
right? As multi-diverse as whatever it is. The truth is, the last 10, 13 years, actually, all of my goal, all of my experience have been hinged on developing lives, youth lives, predominantly. So the mission of ReLife was to empower you through tech education and entrepreneurship, disconnected and at-risk youth. And the truth is, Nigeria has the largest population of disconnected youths in the world at 13 million. For Startup 52, our goal is to create better access to resources, to capital, to a network for founders from what we call untapped communities. And if you look at our nation today, pretty much every sector and every group pretty much is untapped. You can literally say that. Now, so when we talk about experience-wise in human capital development, which I think is extremely important for the nations of the future, which is why my campaign is also hinged on the same three things I've been working on for the last 13 years: education, technology, and entrepreneurship. Education because it enables us to understand our problems, but also come up with solutions to them. Technology helps us to amplify these solutions, but as well as scale them out. And then entrepreneurship teaches us to monetize these solutions. And that's how you prepare a nation for the future. So when people say, do you have the right experience, the political experience? Why didn't you start at the councilor level? Or why didn't you run for House of Rep, or Senate, or governor, or any other position? Why the president? I said, well, that's you asking me to go get the same corrupt experience that we complain about. That's you telling me that I will only be qualified to run the nation if I'm corrupt or know exactly how to steal the money from the nation. That's you telling me to go get the experience of the same perspectives, the same ideology that has led us and brought us to exactly where we are today. And I beg to differ. I think fresh perspectives, things that are entirely different from what's the norm, is what we need, the radical solutions we need right now for the nation. So, experience-wise, I think the most viable experience is your ability to, one, inspire people that you lead, two, to have the compassion and empathy to understand the heartbeat of the nation, three, your ability to develop lives. Because the truth is, the resources are non-renewable. However, your ability to invest in people's lives is the renewable resources that we need to drive our nation into the future that we're walking into.
Nice. What about the financial experience? I'm putting it that way. I'm actually wondering, who is funding your campaign?
Right now, it's we. So people ask me, who's your cabal? Who's your godfather? The truth is, right now, we consider the people to be that, right? It's the $5 from the guy in the diaspora. It's the 500 naira from, the guy on the streets. In fact, we discovered this young guy in Edo State the other day. So someone tagged me on Instagram. And then I went over to look at his page, and I realized this young dude was actually offering people money if they would vote for me. I do not know this person. I have never met him in my life. I've never seen him before. So I reached out to him. I'm like, wow, this is actually humbling. And only for me to realize that he's actually, he had printed, he had stuff, he sent us pictures. He had hats, he had t-shirts, he had printed banners. He did a whole medical thing in about 12 villages and telling them that Chike, Ukaegbu donated free glasses for men and women. And I do not know who this person is. Now, that is the godfather that I want to have. The people who understand what's at stake in this election for them and will do everything and anything that they can to ensure that that becomes reality. Those are my godfathers.
Good. Okay. So, would you like to address our viewers and tell them your value proposition?
Sure. So I say this, right? When people ask me, just like you've asked me several questions, we don't think, you have the structure to tackle the status quo. And it makes my heart bleed when I hear that, especially from young people. And that's because we have been conditioned
to believe that we're not good enough, that we're not ready, that we don't have what it takes to lead, what it takes to defeat, what it takes to win, because those whom we classify as the status quo are people who have all the resources, they're evil enough, they're violent enough, they have all the money to defeat us, to shut us up, to intimidate, to oppress, to suppress us. The truth is, we as young people have the power. Because I tell people, Atiku is not going to stand at a polling booth to hand you 5,000 naira for your vote. Neither is Buhari going to do it. He's going to use you and I, young people. So until you understand the importance of this election to your life, until you understand that you have the key to changing the course of history in Nigeria for our today, for our tomorrow, until you understand that the role of the older men is the elder statesmen. We're not fighting them, no. We're not, killing them, no. We're saying you have a role in society to play, to teach us about the mistakes you've made, not to make the same mistakes at the expense of our futures, mortgaging our futures and those of our children. So until we understand the power we have, that potent power that we have, to find what's in it, the reason why this election is not just important for us, for our lives, for the nation, for Africa, for the globe, but that the urgency of now is the most critical thing that we have to run with. There will never be good enough time. They will tell you, wait another 4 years, and in 4 years, they'll tell you, wait another 4 years. They call us the leaders of tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes. It's today. So wake up, wake up, wake up, and understand why we collectively can do this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was 35-year-old Chike Ukaegbu, the presidential candidate for AAP.
Yes, perfect. Golden spoon.
Thank you so much for coming on Ifeoma Speaks.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Mine as well.
Dr. Nicolas, Felix for president.
My fellow compatriots of Nigeria, it is time to ask questions of the political class and those in power who has failed us numerous times. If we don't want the labor of our heroes past to be in vain, we have to work together to become the next leaders of this great nation. Join me in saying no to security problems, power failure, poverty, unemployment, healthcare inaccessibility, and corruption, and say yes to the securing of the future of Nigeria. Your PVC is your pathway to a brighter tomorrow. Get your PVC today, and together we can make Nigeria great. I am Dr. Nicolas Felix, presidential candidate, and I approve this message.
On the 19th, make Nigeria great.
I have with me on Ifeoma Speaks today a presidential candidate, the flag bearer for PCP, vibrant and enthusiastic Dr. Nicolas Felix. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me. Glad to be here.
You have been famed for standing in the gap. Does this philanthropic nature have a women background? Is it gender sensitive?
Of course, it is gender sensitive. But it's obvious that women have not really been in politics that much. So it's hard to pull a lot along. But we're very open. I have a daughter. It's my firstborn. I would do anything for her. I would have her, get on any stage. So I'm very sensitive to that. We welcome everyone. We have ladies in our campaign team, who are working with us. Certainly, yes.
I understand you do a lot for widows. You place them on salary. You give them kerosene when there is scarcity. Yeah,
that's just... That's nothing to do with politics. It's one of the reasons I've not featured any of those in politics, because I was doing them before I even thought of, running for office. I'm a pastor, also a businessman. There's this side of me. It gives me joy to put a smile in the faces of people. You don't have to be a billionaire before you can help, So the church where I grew up from, I thought it wise to, to please God. And we have some widows with a salary every month. We pay them. I just even met some of them last few months ago. So we give kerosene, even in New York, not just in Nigeria. Every year we give out free gas to people, the news media always come to cover it. So it's just the other side of us. It has nothing to do with politics.
Interesting. Tell me, what does giving hope to the hopeless do for you?
It gives me joy. I'm not, how do I put it? I don't know if I'll classify myself in the category of those who are quote unquote rich, but the little we have, we try to be a blessing to people. I think that's what we live for. You get to a point, you say to yourself, I have all the money, I have the houses, I have the cars, what else? It doesn't give satisfaction, So giving hope is one of our calling as a man of God, and I think that's why we even join the join politics. It will, give us a higher platform to be able to give hope, not just to maybe those who are Christian, to every Nigerian. So it's joyful and it's very satisfactory.
Apart from being a man of God, I also know that you write books.
Yes, I wrote a couple of books, and I have a business side in me a lot. I love business. I'm into it. I have 5 companies. By the grace of God, within the past 4 years, we've been able to employ nothing less than 450 people in our company. So, like you say, I wear many hats, and I can only say it's just the grace of God.
There's something that resonates for me. The titles for your books. There is one that is This Shame Must End.
Yes.
There's one that is This Battle Must End. And then The God of Second Chance.
Second Chance.
Do these books have anything to do with the Nigeria story?
Of course. Coming from Nigeria, from the black world, let me use that phrase, we have a lot of spiritual and background that sometimes we have to get really spiritual to break. So many of us have gone through battles on earth. We've gone through a lot of troubles, and it came out of those pain, out of those difficult times that this battle must end. There's a time you have to stop crying. Weeping may endure for a night. Joy has to come in the morning. So that's where the revelational books that I wrote.
And they have Nigerian content and background.
Every one of them, yeah, Nigerian content.
Okay. So I'm wondering, what place does Nigeria have in your heart? And what is your prayer for Nigeria? You
see, I'm a Nigerian. Born and raised there. At least I spent the first 65% of my life in Nigeria. I know the struggle, I know the pain. Oftentimes, I can't help but wonder, how do people survive here? Even though some of us, I always think that I escape to a better place where we have all the opportunities. But we've never stopped being Nigerians. When you go to a place like America, when they ask us, where are you from? If we tell them we're Americans, nobody wants to hear that. You're only American on paper. They will not ask you, where are you really from? At the end of the day, you have no choice than to tell them you're from Nigeria. I've always had the passion in my heart. I've always had the pain. I've always been angry with the government. But there have never really been any opportunity to get involved until this year. Something happened that really pushed us into it. And I'm glad, as tough as it is, as it's very demanding, I can tell you. But Nigeria, we can't run away from it. No matter how far we go, it's still at home. We still have families back here. We still have friends who are still back here. We can't ship everybody abroad.
I know. So what's your value proposition for Nigeria?
Number one, Nigeria needs to be secure. There's no safety in Nigeria. To me, that's the biggest. If you give me a big mansion, I'd rather stay in one room in a safe nation than to live in a place that is not safe. If Nigeria, safety is paramount. And until we fix it, nothing will ever work. You can Google this. Do you know Nigeria has the highest rate of Western Union money transfer in the world? The highest. Over 210 nations on the face of the earth. Nigeria has the highest. And yet the country is not developed. So there are a lot of things that are going bad because security is not fixed. Nigerians don't want to come abroad. My accountant is a very nice guy. I mean, he's an honest man, an Igbo man. Very honest guy, a good man. I told him I'm going to run for president. He said, I will support you. I said, when I win, I want you in my cabinet. He said, there's no amount of position you give me that will make me come back. I mean, he's dealing with somebody who is directly involved. I've convinced, I've said everything. He said, no, I'm not going back. If Nigerians don't want to come back to their own country to invest, how do you intend to convince foreigners to come? And every one of them will tell you one thing they are running away from is because the country is not safe. Not because if some of us stay here, we won't make it. Of course, people are making it here. The opportunities are there. We'll be able to strive and one day break loose or break out of poverty. But for me, I'm a big fan of security. As a matter of fact, I have a security company in America.
Interesting.
That's to tell you how big of a deal I am with security. I have a security company. As a matter of fact, it's my biggest among all our companies. So, for a nation that is safe, and yet I opened a security company, it is just from the pain of where I'm coming from, how this nation is not safe.
And then after security, what else would you be tackling?
Now, when we fix security, the next issue is the issue of power failure. People have been asking, I brought my manifesto well detailed. We have the graphics, we have the word. The issue is not if we have engineers who can fix it. The issue is not how do you intend to. The only problem is we just need to take the hands off that are preventing it from happening. It's obvious that people are profiting from the darkness we experience. So, as president, it's one of the reasons I did not even bother going for Senate or for governor. Because when you become the number one citizen, the power is in your hands to be able to effect the changes that you need. Those who are profiting from this lack of power supply, as president, will be able to handle them. And it won't take 6 months to fix this power issue we face in Nigeria. Now, look at it. Nigeria uses a lot of gas, a lot of generator, and yet we don't even produce generator in the country. How can we use so much of it? I just came back from a TV station. They had 4 power plants, heavy ones. 4. I told my driver, I said, look at it. 1, 2, 3, 4. And yet, people don't see that this is an issue. I was in Nasarawa yesterday, and the hotel we use for our town hall meeting, the man said to me, 85% of my expenses go for gas, which is 4. 85%. How is that profitable to a businessman? So, we fix security. The next thing we are tackling is the power issue. I'm not laying more emphasis on it because, to me, it will be an easy fix. We just need to remove the hands of those that are preventing it from happening. And that will be taken care of. So that's why I'm giving more time to security, not to power, because the power can easily be fixed.
Thank you. Just imagine you're already president. What would you be saying to Nigerians? The
first day I'm inaugurated, the next day I'm addressing the nation myself, giving them hope that a change has come, that we're going to do this together. Now, there's something that don't take place. I really don't know why it works. Probably I've stayed somewhere else far enough and a different system is in me. I'm wondering how these guys be doing it. We don't hear from the presidency. Every day, Monday to Friday, the presidency should be able to address us. I'm not saying the president should come out to speak every day. Of course, the job is too tedious for him to do that. But that's why we have press secretary who comes out every day. It's either by 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. with all media present. They have those who are assigned to Asoro who are there every day to be able to air out what is going on. What is the president doing? Who has been issued contract? What is going on? There need to be press release every day. Unfortunately, I've not seen anyone for the past weeks I've been around.
So much transparency.
Yes, of course. It's normal. You have
and
to
accountability.
Say, you have to tell Nigerians what is going on. The president met with so person. What did you guys discuss? Remember, when you become the president, you're serving the people. You literally don't have no privacy. So what are you doing? What is going on in the country? But apparently that has not been done in Nigeria. So that's one thing we're going to do. There's going to be a press secretary who comes out every day and let the people know this is what is going on. The president is visiting Germany tomorrow. This is why he's going. This is what will be done. The Nigerians need to know there's something going on. How can you award a contract of 10 billion and yet Nigerians don't know who that contract has been given to? And this is why they have been able to loot money without you even know what is going on. Somebody will be issued a contract of $10 million. We don't know who the person is. We don't know the company. We don't know when it was issued. And because why? They know what they're doing. But for us, we're going to have a press secretary. The media will be granted access every day. There will be a time it will be known that every 4 p.m. the presidency is addressing the nation. And when it's necessary, we live in a world of social media. You look at our president of America, Donald Trump. Every day he's tweeting something. He's saying something. It may be getting some people upset, but at least we're hearing from him. We need the same. I mean, he's literally doing it by himself. I know everybody cannot be technologically, smart, but at least you can type, you can say something. You can tell whoever is handling tell the country this is going on. It's going to be all right. We need hope, and currently we're not getting that.
Thank you. You have been watching and listening to Dr. Nicolas Felix, a presidential aspirant, candidate, come 2019. It's been a pleasure having you on Ifeoma Speaks.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. It gets more interesting by the day. We have listened to them, and I think it was quite enlightening and insightful. Thank you for subscribing to my YouTube channel, IfeomaSpeaks TV. Keep subscribing, keep liking, and keep sharing my videos. Thank you so much. God bless you, and remember, life is meaningless until you find your purpose. Bye-bye.